cocaine, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're firing me, firing me. Yeah, you're firing me, firing me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can sing, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my hand again.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to. Oh, we both got this. We both got this. It's a movie review, but we got this at the same time. I'm Bobby Munson, and Ed, why don't you take it from there, my friend?
And I'm all Ed Fries, and we're here to talk about, honestly, a childhood favorite of ours growing up. I mean, I know I grew up on these movies. Beverly Hills Cop 4, or Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Dropped to Netflix earlier today. Very excited to watch it. I loved it. I'm just going to get right out of the way. I loved it. It's exactly what I thought it was and hoped it would be.
Yeah. No, and I mean, here's the thing. Like, when I heard the announcement about it, a couple of points. Axel F, I believe, was the original title that they put it out with without the Beverly Hills Cop notion on it, although obviously Beverly Hills Cop 4. The interesting part was, I believe that they added the Beverly Hills Cop for a couple of reasons. One being that the song Axel F started to confuse a little bit of the algorithm there. Yes, and I do apologize if I'm coming across a little bit laggy here tonight. We were actually experiencing some thunderstorm problems here locally, so hopefully that will not affect too badly as we go through this. But yeah, like you said, you loved it. I love this as well too, Ed. So, and hello, Astrid. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, it came out today. I had gone back previously because my wife had not actually seen the first 3 movies. So I want to make sure I caught up on them. She got to see them before we watched this one. So they are very fresh in my memory. And here's the best part. Axel F does not disappoint. It's exactly what I wanted. There's a lot of people crying, oh, the nostalgia, it does the heavy lifting. Yes, no shit. It's a Beverly Hills Cop movie. What did you expect? All new people? All new story? No, Axel Foley lives in Detroit. He's going to find a way to get to Beverly Hills. He's going to run into all his old friends, and shit's going to happen. Chaos will ensue. Hilarity will happen. I got all of that in strides. This one is even far better than the third one, let me tell you. This one, The third one actually was a little bit of a disappointment in terms of this franchise. This one more than makes up for it. In fact, my wife just told me before we went live here, this is her favorite one. She actually even enjoys this more than the first one. She thought this one was great. She felt more connected with the characters this time around and everything that they built, and she loved it too. So yeah, awesome. But why don't you take us a little bit into the plot line and stuff?
Yeah, sure. So Axel is still doing his thing, running his game in Detroit. His friend Jeffrey is now the chief of police in Detroit, which is just so lovely that bumbling Jeffrey is now the chief of police.
What time will do to a person.
Yeah, but Axel F, of course, Axel gets involved into something he's not supposed to be involved with, ends up causing mass destruction across everything, but in Axel Foley fashion, gets the job done. He does the things he needs to do to catch the bad guys in that one. He ends up finding out that from Billy, who is looking in rough shape, Judge Reinhold, they're looking in a little bit rough shape in this one.
Oh, yeah.
We find out that Axel not only had a wife and a daughter, but we find out he has his little girl, and she is a defense attorney, and she's taken on a case, and she gets, essentially, they try to convince her very, very roughly to not take the case by threatening to push her car off the parking structure, but they have it hooked up to the tow truck so the car doesn't actually go nowhere, and it's just a threat to her. But of course, this prompts Billy to call Axel, who comes to his estranged daughter's aid, and then the typical Beverly Hills Cop ensues. Like, literally, like what we said about Bad Boys, copy, paste, insert.
Yeah. Including the bad guy cop. That was clearly, I mean, as soon as I saw Kevin Bacon, I'm like, man, you're oozing with bad guy already. They didn't try to hide it as much as Bad Boys, though. Like, I think right from that first handshake, it was kind of clear that this was going to be the case. I'm like, I hope they don't drag this out and act like it's a surprise. This guy's going to be a prick. No, sure enough, we find out within minutes later that this guy is a dirty cop that's running thugs, that he's behind the whole thing. They didn't try to surprise us or try to make it seem like they had this brilliant hidden idea. No, they slapped you in the face with it, and I was perfectly okay with being slapped in the face with it. The plot line follows along, nice and easy. It's a great action flick and lots of comedy. Comedy that lands. That's the thing. Eddie Murphy is just as good here as he's ever been. He is a funny man. He's got the charisma. He does great. I loved every bit of it. Yeah.
I love how they toned these movies to the new age. Because I watched Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 the other day in preparation of this. In the United States, Beverly Hills Cop 3 is paywalled, so I couldn't watch that as well. But there are some jokes in Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 that you don't make in 2024.
No,
and I was very excited that they toned Axel down a bit without making anything feel like it was forced due to the times. Everything fits. It fits an older Axel who's not quite doing the same silly stuff that he did before. But I love how The Heat Is On is the initial theme song to the movie. Like the movie starts and it's still using The Heat Is On. You hear Axel F play 40 times in the movie, like you're supposed to in a Beverly Hills Cop movie. I love the really slow and sad Axel F at one point in the movie. This is really like orchestral version of Axel F. It's just, chef's kiss. I don't want to go too much into the plot because, I don't want to ruin it for people because it just came out today. I don't want to ruin it for too much people.
Yeah.
But I want to say,
our best not to serve up too many spoilers.
Yeah. I want to say that the new team brought into this with Luis Guzman, with, what's his name? The kid from Third Rock from the Sun, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yeah.
And Kevin Bacon. Fantastic jobs here. I don't know the name of the girl who played his daughter, but she was fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, so her name is Taylor Page. Not that she's been in a whole lot, to be honest. Like her roles have been very minimal and stuff like that. I believe, in fact, her first acting role was in High School Musical. It was a dancer or somebody not right in the forefront, but High School Musical, right? And so a lot of the people there are starting to grow up and coming into these types of roles now. I thought she was fantastic. Like, she was great in this movie. She was one of the best, like, addition. Like, you've got all these big names that come into it. You, like you said, you've got a Kevin Bacon and a Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And I looked at it and thought, wow, here's a great new addition to the franchise that we're not familiar with yet. But I'm going to know the next time that I see her on screen because that's how much of an impact she makes in this for me. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that's a given. I mean, I love that kid. I think I call kid, he's 2 years older than I am. I think he's great. The projects that he chooses to be part of, I think he's a solid human being if you go ever check out the work that he does behind the scenes, off screen, and stuff like that too. And then it's just Kevin Bacon. I mean, like, let's not get ourselves. If you need a good, solid guy who's a little bit underhanded and a little bit evil, Kevin Bacon's your man.
I mean, Kevin Bacon can really do it all. And again, it fits the mold of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise to have these kinds of characters being brought in. And that's the thing. Like, Taggart's role in this movie is perfect for the franchise. And again, I don't want to give too many spoilers, so we'll just leave it at that. But, Taggart's role, both Taggart and Billy have minimized roles in this movie, but done to perfection. The story gives you perfect reasons why we don't have to see them as much as we need to. Because obviously they're not able to do the things that they were doing in 84. They're not able to do the things that they were doing in 87 or 94. The The one thing I was a little disappointed in is that we didn't see, like, and again, I don't think he's any longer with us, but like Bogomil, there's no mention of Bogomil in this movie. I kind of was a little disappointed that there's nothing like that. But overall,
we did get Serge.
We always need to get.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Like that was fun.
It's not a Beverly Hills Cop if we don't get Serge.
No.
Good evening,
Basser. Good evening.
But
sorry.
This movie delivers on everything it needs to. The soundtrack is fantastic, bringing the things that make it feel like a Beverly Hills Cop movie, while also adding in brand new-ish type music. Not all of it's new, but all of it's at least new-ish. Like Milkshake is in this, and I agree, Milkshake's not new, but it's something that's newer. It's something that you would have in, for people of their age groups. It would be something that's like somebody that like them would listen to. I love the different side of Beverly Hills in 2024. I think that was a major plus for this movie. Is during the time they took the time to make sure that everything feels now without feeling like we're just doing a nostalgia movie.
Yeah, exactly. And and again, I've already gone on and had a look at a few other people's comments and stuff on the film, and again, a lot of cries about the nostalgia. And it's like, again, what are you expecting? What do you think you're going to get when you walk into a franchise? You're going to get nostalgia. It's based around a nostalgic premise that exists. This isn't something new. You want to go see new, you can go fall asleep like I did in the theater seeing Kevin Costner's new crap fest. But I like nostalgia quite personally. I especially like nostalgia when I get it for free on Netflix. This was great to come home on a Wednesday and it's holy shit, there's a Axel Foley movie on Netflix for me. Love it. And in fact, what surprises me more is the fact that Netflix went for this, brought it to their channel for everybody to have. When I would put this right on, I would say I would have been okay paying for this in a theater. To me, I had fun like I did at Bad Boys 4. Yeah. So I think this could have held up its own in the theater, and I think it's going to do very well for Netflix. I think Netflix needed a good nostalgia action flick that feels like a summer blockbuster type film that doesn't, they tend to have some ones like that. They're action flicks, but they don't really connect at all. This does, like you said, on every level, the comedy, the soundtrack, the action, the story. I thought this was easily the strongest plot line since the original, possibly. Debatable. 2 is really good too. It's tough, but
the story here is so intertwined with everything we already know that it's kind of hard to compare it to everything else, because there's such the major storyline through this is reconnecting with the daughter and trying to make sure she's safe.
Yeah.
And there's other parts to it. And again, spoilers, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But the major through lines are trying to reconnect with my daughter, make sure to keep her safe, and then part 3.
Yeah.
We'll just say find Billy. It's fine.
Billy, they have to get to him eventually. I mean, he's there. He's somewhere.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that, like you said earlier, that they kind of kept his role. A couple of the roles, they were there, but they also were kind of background players at this point in time. They were there for the purpose that they connect the other films all to this story, but at the same time, they weren't excessively required to try to sell the merits of this film itself.
Yeah, like I said, I think that they do such a good job at it's weird for me to hear people saying it's a nostalgia kick. Well, yeah, of course. Hey, what's up, Andre Noble? Thanks for joining in. I'm assuming that's Andre, but
yeah,
we'll see. No, I think that they kept the nostalgia to a minimum because, like I said, with the exception of Surge, with the exception of Billy, with the exception of Taggart and, Jeffrey, there really isn't a ton of nostalgia to this movie. It's mostly just do the Beverly Hills Cop, setup. It's be in Detroit, They literally tell you this in the movie. There's a line where one of them's like, "This is what you do, Axel. You're in Detroit. Somebody does something to find you a reason to go to LA, to go to Beverly Hills. You come to Beverly Hills, you cause chaos, and then you leave." They literally have the formula there. It's like there's nothing nostalgic about the formula. It's just do the Beverly Hills Cop thing. And they do it, and they do it well. And honestly, Netflix needed this after a couple of their, bigger projects. With Bridgerton, no. Bridgerton is an exception. But like some of their other movie projects have really shit the bed lately. Mm-hmm. So to have a movie that's going to do well, that they could market, and especially to people like us, because this is something that's going to hit our demographic. That demographic of people who grew up as kids and teenagers watching Beverly Hills Cop, and then being able to watch this with their parents, and their parents are the age of Taggart and Billy and Eddie Murphy. All these people are all of that age range. So everybody's going to be able to come to it. And you can bring your kids into it. Like, depending on their ages, obviously, because it's Beverly Hills Cop, lots of F-bombs. But it does the thing it needs to do. It does it very well.
One or two.
One or two. In the first few minutes, there's one or two. We have a 10-year-old kid at one point that tells Axel to F off.
I know.
In the opening scene.
Fantastic. Yep. Beverly Hills Cop. It just what I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't minimalize that. They didn't try to PG up Beverly Hills Cop at the same time. Netflix is like, no, do your thing. Go do your thing and stuff. And like you said, the tie-ins to make it a modern because of the things that, Axel feels like a grown-up Axel without having to be one of these characters that we see in a nostalgic film that complains, oh, I'm getting old. Oh, my bones hurt. Oh, this. He doesn't do that throughout the whole film. He's still Axel Foley, get out on the street, bust crime. He wants to be in on all of it. And he doesn't worry about any of that kind of stuff. He just gets down to business. And that's what I liked. It didn't play too much on how old he was and how tired he was. And how he doesn't need to be in this game anymore. No, he's Axel Foley. He wants to be in this game. He likes doing this whole thing. This is him. And that's exactly what it was. I love that.
Yeah. And like, honestly, if this is the point in a movie review where we go, okay, now we're going to give spoilers. I honestly don't want to. I don't want to do spoilers for this. I
go watch it.
Want people to go spend 2 hours and watch it because it's worth your 2 hours of your time. Watch it while you're doing something, while you're folding laundry or cooking dinner or something like that. Just throw it on while you're having dinner. Just do it.
Yeah.
See, it's a fun, entertaining movie. The 2 hours will pass without you realizing it, and you'll get to see faces of people that you recognize doing cool things, like the helicopter scene. Which is in the ad, so I'm fine mentioning it. And by the way, it's one of my least favorite scenes in the movie. Like, it's ironic. When I saw the ads, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a great scene. And when I watched the movie, I'm like, it's fun, but like I've had way more fun seeing other things that they didn't tell me ahead of time. And the helicopter scene is different than what you expected it to be in the ad, which is great. It was a great misdirect.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was still a great scene. Like, let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of laughs throughout that entire scene, and it's a great, fantastic setup to why they get there. And again, without spoiling it, we don't want to tell anyone because I'm on this. Want this to be one of the ones that people support. I know that time and time again, I keep telling people certain movies like support it. If you want to see these kind of things continue to be made, or you want Netflix to put their money into better products like this, or reviving franchises that you feel deserve to get revived. Again, this to me makes up for the fact that 3 was the way we saw this franchise end in 1994, because while 3 is not the worst movie you've ever seen, when you compare it against 1 and 2,
it doesn't compare. It doesn't at all.
It was not good. It was not good at all in comparison. This one takes me back to why I love the franchise, why I love the series. I was happy to see it. I'm happy for it. And my next question I'm going to ask now, Ed, is do you feel that they should squeeze out another one? Or are you happy with them finishing it right here and saying, great job, you got the franchise back on track for the last one.
I think there's a fifth one, but I think it's with a minimized Axel Foley. I think going forward, this franchise is Axel in Beverly Hills, having left Detroit and going to Beverly Hills to be closer to his daughter, and then having Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, Abbott, take over the Axel role.
Okay.
I think that going forward, I think that Abbott needs to be the Axel. If Judge Reinhold is okay doing it, have him be the straight man to Abbott. I think that would be fun. Make him Abbott's Taggart. And then leave Taggart in the role he's in. Like, I think there's something to do with that. I think there's a way to minimize Axel, make him part of the movie without making him the Beverly Hills Cop, and move the direction towards Abbott. Because you could have a franchise with Abbott. I think his character's fun and interesting, and there's more to develop between him in this role. I think that he starts to loosen up, and I think that there's something you can do with that.
Thinking about it, I mean, what if there was a situation where Axel was the one that was taken, nabbed, or whatever, for whatever reasons, because they were trying to get through to his daughter or whoever, or to Abbott himself, Bobby Abbott, or to the both of them, really. I mean, in essence, and that could be, again, like the minimalized role we see from someone like Billy could be the same thing in another project in that sense, but then you bring the focus to these new characters that you've developed in this movie. And yeah, wonderful. I'm with you. I could see another one. I think another one could be done right. Don't go to the well too many times. I think that you're on the right track. I think that one more could really do it. But you know, Hollywood, especially Netflix, they'll squeeze the life out of it if they have the opportunity. And that's what makes me fearful for when stuff comes back, because as long as people are watching, they'll keep pumping out as many as they want. I mean, look, they've given Adam Sandler a lifetime contract to make whatever he wants over there. So,
yeah, some things are good. But like I said, that's why I say a minimized. If you're going to continue making Beverly Hills Cops, you need to minimize Eddie Murphy's role, and then take Abbott and make him learn from Axel.
Yep.
So you take Bobby Abbott's role, and you start to mix that with Axel, and he becomes the Beverly Hills Cop. Because I think he has a reason to, the way this movie plays out. I think there's a way that you can explain how he goes, all right, I can't keep doing things the straight-laced way because that almost got me killed. Now I'm going to do this Axel's way.
Yep. Well, and like when Bobby Abbott gets suspended and Axel goes, your first time? He goes, good for you. He goes, I get my best work done when I'm on suspension. I thought that was great. And then on more than one occasion, which I thought was a nice little play or a wink to the camera that works, is when Axel would fool the enemy and be like, man, you watch way too many movies. Or whatever. Yeah. It was like just that logical setup that he sets people up with, and then he fools them at the same time, and just, you watch way too many movies. And I'm like, that was clever. Like, well written, well played, well done. Huge props from me. I highly recommend people check this out. Especially, like, I mean, you're going to be, it's not too many hours off now, but Independence Day, 4th of July out there in the United States. I'm sure a big reason why Netflix pumped this out on a Wednesday instead of a Friday night kind of situation, that they want to cash in on the day off and stuff like that. People watch movies with the family and everything. Great. This is great. If you don't mind watching a R-rated, F-bomb filled gun shooting action film with your family, happy 4th of July. Here it is.
Yeah, it like I said, if you understand what a Beverly Hills Cop movie is, you're not going to be disappointed. If you like Bad Boys, you're going to like this. Just give it a try. And if you like this, go back and watch the 80s ones, because the 80s ones are great now. Like, watching them now, they're hysterical at how out of place these things are compared to nowadays.
Oh, how times have changed, all of us.
Oh, boy, have times changed.
But yeah, like you said, I'm glad Foley's a more grown-up version of himself. He's managed to adapt to a modern time and understand it without having to play too much on it too. He doesn't sit there and whine that, oh, I don't understand the new age or anything. No, he gets it. He understands it. He goes with it. He rolls with it. And he's still, at the heart of it, he's still Axel Foley kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I think that was the real interesting thing, is the way they portrayed his character. I was worried it was going to be watered down. It was going to be something, that it was going to be something that they had to work on. They didn't. They just did the thing. They just put him out there and they were like, look, this is Axel, but this is Axel 45, 50 years old. And he's a little Riggs and a little Murtaugh, if you want to go Lethal Weapon on it. He's not, I'm too old for this shit, but he's certainly like, I'm too old to be doing all the things I used to do.
As he is told in the movie, you're not in your early 20s anymore.
Yeah.
He has to learn that he can't go in there busting heads like he did once upon a time, but he damn well tries. He tries hard.
But Bobby, we've been here for about half an hour. I don't think, without really going into spoilers and spoiling the movies, not much more we can do. We highly recommend this. Yep. Bobby, what do you got coming up the rest of this week?
Oh, I think it's one or two things here. Let me just get to this part here. So there is where you can find me. What you can find me on again tomorrow night. Myself and Papa Spokes Ring Respect Radio. We are going to be covering everything to do with PPW's Great Canadian Rager that just happened on Saturday. And let me tell you, chaos ensued. It was a very controversial ending to the night. So a lot that we need to unpack there tomorrow night on Ring Respect Radio. Yeah, damn that Sheik. Yeah. We're gonna be talking all about Sheik and his evilness there tomorrow. But yes, Saturday, join me. Money in the Bank post show. It's gonna be myself, Mark Robson, Kimmy Sokol, and Auntie Collins giving you the Money in the Bank. I am the Canadian representative for the show taking place in Toronto, Canada. And then, of course, Sunday on Point of View is where you're going to be able to find me. Myself and Mark are going to be talking again, and because I apparently made a few people check out a video now that's got over 3,000 views where I predicted the England game correct from last time. So I did a prediction. You can check it out. You can check that out in the comment section of that short clip. I made a prediction for the game that's coming up on Saturday for England too. So if I'm right again, maybe I should start giving out lottery numbers, but that's where you can find me. Ed, where can the people find you?
So me and Asher this weekend are, doing the work for NXT Heatwave on Sunday night. On Saturday afternoon at some time, we'll be releasing a pre-recorded episode with our pre-show and predictions with Stephanie Hypes. Will be joining us. I'm very excited for that. I've been looking forward to this opportunity for a while. Big fan of her work. And then on Sunday night afterwards, come on over here and join us because we've got the Angle Podcast, Joey Carney joining us. I'm very, very excited for this. This is going to be a bunch of fun. We're going to be sitting there talking all about the show from Toronto. It's going to be good. We've got a whole bunch of Canadians on that show. I mean, we've got Sean Spears. We've got Ethan Page. We've got Carmen Petrovic. We got Ariana Grace. Like, we've got 4 Canadians on this show.
Yeah.
Not to mention, there might be a couple other hidden Canadians that I don't know about on this show. So, oh, and of course, on the Sunday show, we will have an appearance because he's here, and I don't want to, get yelled at by him again. Andre C. will be joining us to shed tears of sorrow when Lola Vice does not gain access to the NXT Women's Championship.
Andre, this is a violin playing for you, my friend. Oh,
yes.
Nope. Am I?
Tiny violin for Andre. No, you're good now. You were quiet for a minute there.
Oh, I'm good now. Okay, sounds good. All right. No, it's again. Yeah, no, probably just that terrible lag because that just happens every once in a while. But yeah, no, that's what we got. And Mel, well, joining us right at the end. Mel, you missed out. But what we could say, Mel, go watch Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. We both recommend it highly. But yes, if you want to, you can check out other reviews here on the channel, as well as all the short form content, long form content, and live stuff that we have here on our local establishment from many great contributors from all over the globe. Right down below is where you can follow us. We encourage you to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're watching on replay, make sure to comment in the comment section. I'm always reading those, getting back to you guys. And turn on that notification bell. That's going to alert you anytime we have new content released here on our local establishment. But from myself, from Ed, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you at the next one.